MotoGP Podcast. This is episode 9. It's been about 2 weeks, and we've got 2 races to cover. Unfortunately, our buddy Dennis is not here again. He's currently in the Philippines visiting family and doing other awesome things. So I know it's just me and Kevin, and then Kevin, is there anyone else there with you?
Hello. Hi, honey. How are you?
There is, in fact. My good old buddy. What's your name again, bud?
John Kimball.
I see.
So everyone, you may have met John Kimball in the episode from 2 weeks ago, episode 8.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
I don't know if he'll have much input on the racing this time, but we'll see how that goes.
Chill out, dickwad.
I don't think John didn't watch any of the races, so I'm not sure if he's going to have a whole lot to say. I don't even know if he knows what's happening. He'll
I'm
probably...
going to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Which will be the plan for the podcast.
See, Dennis isn't here to ask the questions, so someone's got to do
That's
it.
because Dennis is a quitter.
No, I mean, this is only the second one he's missed, right? So,
No,
whatever.
it's not true.
Let's... Oh, man. All
So
right.
it's just Rob and I.
Yeah. All right. So let's what are we doing? What are we doing first? Let's do Superbike first, like we normally do.
No.
No?
No. Negative.
No. Because here's what happens. We do Superbike first, and like 7 people watch Superbike worldwide, and it's you and Dennis are 2 of them, and everyone starts falling asleep and forgets we've been doing a podcast. So normally I'd say let's just talk about MotoGP, but that race was almost as boring as hearing you guys talk about World Superbike.
Oh, come on. The Superbike race was actually good this time, and we know.
No. What the what race? I'm talking about the MotoGP race.
Oh yeah, no, that race was a slight snooze fest.
No, seriously, the most interesting thing about the MotoGP race was finding out that getting the Ducati out of rain mode is like so complicated. You have to like break Sean Connery out of prison because he's the only one who knows how to like unlock the thing, and it's in his mind. And Iannone, Nicolas Cage, and Sean Connery have to like break into Magneti Morelli. What? He can't turn the rain mode off?
Well, you heard why they did that, right? Because they don't want anyone switching out of rain mode if it's actually freaking raining.
Apparently you can accidentally switch into rain mode, no problem. But getting out of it requires like NSA encryption keys.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what is it? It's up, down, left, right, A, B, B, A, and then you hit start and select it.
That's the Contra code.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
Okay.
actually down, up, left, A, right, down.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. And there was, but so
You don't even know what that is. Don't act like you know what that is. Don't act like you know that's the Sega Genesis Mortal Kombat 1 code to be able to enable all the weird ass shit that you can do. You don't know that.
No, yeah, and you do it like during the intro, and then it says like finish him or something like before the intro finishes, and then you've got it.
Right.
Yeah.
ABACABB.
Come on, I was alive then. This works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
That's true.
But so he's got like what, like red, green, white, and yellow, like on the left handlebar, and then.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Iannone accidentally started his bike in rain mode. So why he went from starting on the front row of Jerez to right around the back of the path in 6th and had like the worst start of all time was because his bike was stuck in wet race mode.
Yeah, so
and you can't apparently get out of wet race mode unless you do a complex encryption key to, like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, I get you don't want to high side to the moon, whatever.
Well, yeah, so apparently the rain mode button is really close to the launch control button, which
is smart.
Which to me seems a little silly. Like, I feel like you don't want those two together because one you use all the time and the other one you almost never use.
Wrong.
Right. One you use literally every race.
Yeah.
The other one you never use because when it's raining you fucking come in and switch bikes because it's a flag to flag rules.
Yeah. And actually that's a good point, right? Like last year or was it at Sachsenring when it was drying out, like you potentially could have wanted to turn the rain mode completely off towards the end of the race. So how did they do it then? Like, I mean, I don't even understand it. It doesn't make sense that he was able to get it so easily into rain mode and then it was so difficult to get it out of it. But
And they're already talking about how getting it into rain mode is now going to be a mechanic thing, where the mechanic, enables it into rain mode before the race starts. Because you don't start races not knowing it's rain, and you come in if it's raining, you are on a dry bike.
yeah, I mean, and that makes
Or
sense.
if you're Marc Marquez, you just stay out until way too long and you crash.
And then you crash. Yeah, I mean that makes sense because you're like you said, it's a flag to flag, so you pop in on another bike and
Right.
with the wets on it, and then you're in rain mode, and it's great. But I kind of thought something was up because I remember seeing the red light on the essentially the brake light that the GP bikes have for rain, like really
Right.
early. And then they showed on the GP website, they showed like the whole Ducati woes video for the whole weekend, and it was the onboard from someone right behind him, and it's just like he's on the starting grid and the red light turns on, and then the grid goes and he doesn't move, and it was terrible. It's just
Right.
the worst start in history. But so that's not all of Ducati's woes for the weekend, right? Dovizioso on the second lap into the final corner supposedly locked up the engine or locked up.
Yeah, I didn't even know what happened there. He ran off the track. Some kind of weird shit was happening.
Yeah, so someone or in the press conference or something today, someone said that the transmission actually locked up. So like
Okay.
he went into the corner and just like when that shit happens, if you rid two strokes back in the day, to pull the clutch in and hopefully that works. But I'm not sure if it did. I mean, he
Come
didn't
on,
go down.
don't bullshit me.
I don't believe you.
He didn't.
John, do you believe him?
And you expect me to believe you?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But yeah, so the only thing that we got from Dovey today in the press conference was that it will not happen again.
Right.
And he wouldn't expound on it other than that it wasn't going to happen again. So who knows if they changed something in the gearbox? Who knows if it was an electronic problem? We have no clue, but that's more of that's just like Honda saying it was an electronic problem when there's oil falling out of the belly pan.
Right. I don't even remember what happened because I fell asleep halfway through this race. I woke up. It was exactly the same as it was before. God damn, man. A hideous race. I mean, I suppose it's cool that Jorge Lorenzo won again, even though no one likes him. But, Jesus already.
Yeah, I mean, his weekend was impressive because
Yeah, he remembered he was Jorge Lorenzo.
yeah, I mean, it took him getting back to Jerez to do it, and honestly, I feel like if he hadn't have had a good showing in FP1, then he would have done the same thing that he normally does. He would have just had a lack of confidence and just kind of been mediocre for the rest of the weekend.
Remember when what he normally does was win hella races and beat Casey Stoner for the title?
Yeah, or even score more points than everyone else, including Marquez, in the last half of the championship.
Right.
Like that's the Jorge that was supposed to exist, and it didn't even freaking rain. Like I could understand if there's water on the ground, he'll ride around for the first 3 rounds. But there was nothing. He wanted to do just slightly better than he did at the beginning of last year. Not like Jorge.
Stop whining.
That's all I want to say to Jorge. Seriously.
Stop whining.
Yeah. So yeah, his weekend was impressive. The Ducatis had technical problems. I did like how the announcers really tried to play up Rossi's slight comeback towards Marquez. Maybe it was going to be.
Oh my God, that was sweet. The most biased. It was like watching Joe Rogan in the UFC just try to explain to you how he's totally going to come back. He made a little bit of headway and suddenly it was doom for Marquez. Oh my God, Ross back. He's going to win the whole thing. He's going to have a fucking parade afterwards. Even though Marquez totally responded and maintained the gap.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely fell for it because it was either fall for it, fall for the hype, or fall asleep. So
right.
I went for the hype, and it worked a little bit. You know, there was like 3 or 4 laps in there that it was slightly more exciting. But it's funny though because we kind of already know that Marquez tends not to make the same mistake twice. So, and when he got caught by Rossi the last time, he pushed really hard and he burned the tires up. Whereas I feel like this time the only reason why he got caught a little bit was because he was trying to save the tires. And
Right.
he let him cool off a little bit for those couple of laps that Rossi was catching up, and then he upped the pace again, and Rossi actually burned the tires up, which is why he wasn't able to pull up any closer.
And
So
it's interesting to know that even though he burned up a little bit, he still got third. It's the first time he's gotten podiums in the first 4 races since 2005.
yeah, it's been
And dude's got 2 titles since then.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And it's against the competition now, right? In 2005,
right.
it was, I mean, he had Cap and Nikki and who else?
Biaggi was getting riding the factory Honda.
Yeah, exactly. And now he's battling Jorge and Marquez, and freaking did the same thing. I mean, I would think even if Danny was there, he probably still would have beat Danny every single race as well.
Right.
So there's no way one of the third places would have become a fourth. I think they would have been legitimate.
He only has 1 third place, bro.
Oh yeah.
2 wins, a second, and a third. How many wins? 2 wins.
Oh man.
And how many podiums?
200.
Wait, did John Kimball just say 200?
200. 200.
Yeah, so Nicky just celebrated his 200th start at Coda.
Right.
And Rossi at Jerez just celebrated his 200th podium.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, so
Outrageous. And I will repeal it.
there could be no argument about the GOAT now. I mean the wins are still out there, right? Like Agostini's
But
record is
overall wins, he already has most premier class wins by far. Like at this point, it's just ridiculous. It's 4 races in, he's leading the title, but he extended his title lead last race.
Yeah, he totally did.
What? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, it's like there can't be any more talk about it. He has the most titles. He's got so many fucking podiums and wins. It's ridiculous. And now he's chasing a guy whose wins are when he was the only factory bike on the grid against like a bunch of privateers.
Yeah, I mean, and Giacomo's win percentage is freaking amazing because it was like he was the only one riding a prototype bike, and everyone else actually bought their bikes from a showroom and just decided to go.
Right.
So it was the
Affirmative.
the results are almost incomparable, and for people to still claim that Rossi's not as good as Giacomo is kind of silly.
It's because they're haters.
Yeah, everyone's got to be a hater, right?
Right.
That's where we're gonna get your new email address, right? Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate at brotogp.com.
It'll happen eventually.
Write that down.
But all right, so what else happened at Jerez? Well, okay, so Iannone dropped back super early, and I wanted to see that battle like as he diced through the field, but we just got like Rossi pulling up on Marquez, and
that was it.
Yeah, and once again, the battle for like 10th through 15th was freaking amazing. Like both the Pramac bikes and Vinales and even Barbara and Redding were pretty much just stuck together for the entire race. And we got to see that for like a
Make it a 10.
What was that, John?
Make it a 10.
I'm trying to make it to the 10th place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how do you feel that Vinales did? You think he should be?
I don't remember how he did. How did he do?
He got 11th. He was
right.
He was 51 seconds back. He got beat by a guy riding a wet setup bike. He got beat by a guy that locked up the transmission into the final corner.
Yeah, I actually think Dovizioso's story was interesting. He locked up the transmission, was dead last, and then the result he got was like a decent result they got the last year or two. You know what I mean? Like, that's how far they've progressed. That, like, his normal results a year ago are now the results he gets because of a disaster.
Yeah, he finished 41 seconds back. So let me look up what they did at the in 2014. It was I what's your guess? What's your number on how far back they finished in 2014?
37.8.
Close, but no cigar. 27.
Hold on. John Kimball's got an answer too.
In approximately 1 hour, depending on traffic conditions.
And there's no traffic on the track.
Yeah, there is. Marquez
2 hours
just
and 53
rushed
minutes.
all of them, right? Bautista's on it.
Right.
He's traffic.
1 second.
Close enough.
Right.
Yeah, so
if Vinales had run off the track and got back on last and still only lost by 1 second, John, that would be ridiculous.
That'd be
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Maverick's best showing, but he did get, he got 11th. It's a pretty full grid right now. It's the track that everyone's ridden. It's the when the season starts bullshit. They're finally in Europe and all that.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to work out.
Yeah, I feel like the Tech 3 boys kind of put it together a little better here at Jerez.
Oh my God, you know what, dude? Fuck the Tech 3 boys, for real. Paul Espargaro, he doesn't do something miraculous. He's got to go, man. He's got to go.
Chill out. What?
No, John, I will not chill out.
Well,
seriously,
they're both on 1-year contracts now, right? Because Paul started his 2-year last year, and
right.
Bradley got a 1 year for this year
extension. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Pole's contract is with Yamaha, and Bradley's contract is with Tech 3. So do you think they're both going to stick around, or do you think they're going to get booted?
I don't know if they're going to get booted. I think Smith's going to get booted. He only have him because they offered Alex Rins a contract straight out of Moto3, and he declined because he's kind of Honda-centric.
Oh,
they just couldn't find someone that they really wanted. Herv had said he was looking at Moto3 riders, and there was some talk that he had offered Alex Rins the bike straight from Moto3. And Smith just got the ride because it's a weird lame duck year where next year it starts, and guys don't want to have their second year be their first year on Michelin's in case it's like a James Toseland-like situation where you just do not get along with them.
Yeah, and hurt yourself.
Right.
And given the Michelin's and the complete change of a terrible front tire and an awesome rear tire, that could happen a lot all year. People will be tucking the front in all the fast corners, all the downhill corners, and it could lead to some collarbone injuries and shit.
Well, I don't know if they're going to lose their job because I can't think of offhand of who's available that would replace them. Again, Rins could do, a Vinales type thing and just have his single year in Moto2. He's doing really well right now. He almost won the race if he didn't crash out, but again, he's a rookie in Moto2. But
that was a pretty awesome attempt, even because looking at it, there's there's no way. He's not even gonna get close.
Yes.
But so I guess my prediction is Bradley's gone, and then Pole takes over the Tech 3 contract, and then Yamaha brings in someone else. And I would like to see Tito in there because I feel like his really smooth style would work well.
Ridiculous.
Would work well with the M1. But I mean, if he doesn't win the championship, he might not even get a satellite ride.
Let me be honest. You know why Tito's not going to get a real prototype bike?
Yeah, because he's Spanish.
He's fucking ugly as shit. He's the ugliest guy that's ever raced. Have you seen this dude? I mean, Tito, I hope you're not listening. He's so fucking ugly, dude. What is happening? It's fucking dude from the Munsters. It's Gomez out there. What is going on?
Wait, so is your haters going to hate email for you hating or for other people hating?
It's going to be both. Because haters are going to hate. We're going to have a special line for haters who want to send me hate mail.
Good idea.
But I mean, for real, have you seen the dude? For real, look at him. First of all, he's 1,000, right? He's as old as Methuselah. Him and Ernie were hanging out when Jesus got fucking crucified, and they were oh, bro, that totally sucks. And he's racing in Moto 2, and I mean, he's not even doing very well anymore. Like, I'm going to be the first defending Moto 2 champion and all this nonsense he's talking about. And,
Well, if he pulls it off, then it'll be legit. But that's always.
Yeah, but if my grandma had wheels, she'd be a wagon. Let's not talk about this if stuff.
Yeah, he's actually a few months older than Aleix, which I didn't realize. I knew that he kind of came in late into the championship. He really took a long time to get rolling, but yeah, I didn't realize he was 25. God, he's such a grandpa. For reals. Oh man. Okay, so then who's gonna get the other Tech 3 ride? Pick. You got out on a limb. We're already talking about the silly season. Pick one.
Douglas Quaid.
No, he's way too old. He's way too old.
I agree, John. That's who's gonna get it.
What about Hector Barbera or something? Are they gonna finally move him up to a bike?
Wrong.
No, I think Barbara's I don't know. He took a bad route going to that Ducati off the back when the Ducati still sucked balls. I don't think he's really recovered. I don't think he's really recovered. It's too far away from his good 250 days. People are just looking for younger guns. It's like who's the manager that was saying that? Like, kind of complained that Nicky is even still around. Like, it's time for them to look to the future now. There's a lot of guys who got to get cut or moved out or moved laterally. I think that
sounds like something Lynn Jarvis would say.
Yeah, you know what? Lynn Jarvis is a beast, dude. I love that dude. He will straight up talk shit to your face. He's like, I don't care. You're the 2-time defending champion. Rossi's doing better than you. Eat a dick.
Yeah, I mean, but he does that to everyone. Like, you don't think that he should have some respect for his riders and actually kind of try and help them instead of just blacklisting them in the media?
I don't know, it's sweet. He's like Bill Belichick. He never looks happy. He's got 2 of the best riders in the world, and between those 2 guys, there's 20,000 fucking wins, and they're beating Honda overall, in the MotoGP era, and yet, he always looks like he's pissed off. Nakamoto's like this little fat Buddha who's excited about anything, and Lynn Jarvis looks like he's he's been in the Battle of Berlin or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're winning the championship. Jorge finally wins a race, and I feel like we'll hear something this weekend about one of his 2 riders. He'll probably talk shit about how Rossi missed the setup at Jerez.
Right, yeah, exactly. Even though they've got 3 out of 4 wins so far. And everyone was talking about how better the Honda was last year, and his riders and the team totally respond, and he's like, whatever.
He'll probably say something.
Stop being such a pussy.
That's literally his response to Jorge, right? Jorge's not riding well, and his response is literally,
stop being such a pussy.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much it. He legitimately said that his rider had some confidence issues.
Right, he talks shit about Ben Spies, right? Remember that? Ben Spies wins a race, there's a bunch of podiums and a couple poles, and he's like, yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
He ran Ben Spies out of GP.
He didn't make the step forward that we needed him to.
Right.
That's kind of one of the reasons why I think Pole will stick around, because they're using Pole, Lynn Jarvis specifically, and the whole team and all of Yamaha is using Pole as kind of a test mule for how can we make the M1 a bike that a Moto 2 rider can ride. Because Bradley Smith never really rode his Moto 2 bike like a legit Moto 2 bike, because he was on the Mistral 6, whatever it's called.
But here's the thing. I'm not overly convinced that riding like a Moto 2 rider is actually the best way to ride. It's been a number of years now, and other than Marquez, no Moto 2 rider has done shit. We all have a lot of hope in Iannone, but that's really it. Pole hasn't done crap. Bradley Smith really hasn't done crap except for a podium he basically admitted he got gifted. Yeah. Stefan Bradl never did. He got bumped, you know what I mean, for a dude from Superbike. I love Moto 2 and it's great racing, but I'm not entirely sure these guys are actually learning that, the guys aren't coming out with world championship level abilities.
And even Iannone, Gigi in an interview this last week actually said that Iannone's better than he's not as good as Dovi on the brakes, and he's carries a lot of corner speed. And I wouldn't say that that's how you ride a Moto 2 bike with a lot of corner speed.
No, it's like point and shoot, really.
Yeah,
But like,
it's get in there sideways and get it turned and then go, not carry a corner speed. So to me, it sounds like Iannone has changed his riding style from his winning ways in Moto 2 and is now riding the Ducati like a GP bike, even though he probably needs to be a little better on the brakes.
right.
But,
And my point being, like, and maybe we were spoiled by that rash where, like, everyone that came out of 250s was super good. Pedrosa, Lorenzo, and, and Simoncelli, and, once he got on a factory bike, suddenly had some speed. But, like, I mean, there were obviously some times when the guys winning 250 weren't all that great. Hiroshi is a good example. But I feel like I'm not sold that Moto 2 actually is the true feeder class for top level talent that we were thinking. You know what I mean?
well, I mean, even it actually kind of sounds exactly like 250s because we were spoiled by the fact that we got some amazing talent, right? Like Jorge and Danny out of
What?
250s.
Aliens?
Oh my God, yes, aliens. And then remember, we've dropped the term. We're never going to speak of it ever again. We decided that last time.
Yes.
No, but
Affirmative.
the record for Moto 2 now, it's 1 to how many? To Brattle, Pole, Iannone. Well, you can't really put Bradley Smith in there, but Marquez versus.
But no, you can, because see, Bradley Smith got his ridiculous contract with Herv because he had that string of 3 podiums on that crappy ass Moto 2 bike. That I don't know why anyone rides that bike, but remember he had that string of like 3 second places or something like that back in the early Moto 2. That's basically why he got that ridiculous contract that no one even knew why he would have signed it to it, because he had like 1 good year.
Well,
Correct.
I thought he had the GP contract like kind of lined up. Yeah, no, you're right. It was super early in his Moto 2 contract. It was like
Trust me.
we'll run you the next 2 years in Moto 2 and then you go to GP or something like that. And
Right, it was a 3-year contract where he was going to run 1 more year in Moto 2 and then 2 years in MotoGP.
Yeah, that's right. And
Right.
it hasn't worked out for anyone in that team.
No.
But yeah, I mean, even Redding, right? Redding's not doing crap these days. And I mean, he looked okay on the open bike, but now he's losing to the Pramac bikes. He's losing to the Suzuki. I mean, is it just more of Honda not supporting their satellite bike, or is it just Redding?
I don't think Honda's really cared about their satellite bike since Simoncelli. When he went to, they gave him the factory bike, but since then they haven't really been super hot. I don't know. Brattle got supposedly factory kit and all that, but then they just booted him and told him like you're done. I don't think that they've really invested heavily in a satellite rider as one of their feeder ways in the way that they used to, like what they did with Dovizioso. They brought him up with a JR squad and then moved him, to the factory squad and vice versa. They don't think they care all that much. They're really invested in Marquez, and I think Marquez is younger brother.
I mean, Honda has given Cal and Redding actual hard parts. Like they've gotten upgrades, and Cal said, actually both of them said that they like the improvement on corner entry. Like I guess the stiffness in the headstock is a little different to make it easier to get into the corner. Not faster, but at least easier. But it hasn't really improved the results at all, especially not for Redding. So yeah, I would agree that they're not really. They're invested just enough to make it look like they're getting factory support, but they're not invested enough to actually get those.
And I don't know. I mean, I was big on Redding. I think back when I said that I thought he was going to be the guy who did the best. And I guess you can give them some talk that their team is, new, blah, blah, but that team is the boss, dude. That has a majorly sponsored team that runs across all 3 classes with direct involvement with Honda. They were involved in Mark. I mean, like, that team is gangster. It's not like they're fucking forward Yamaha where they're a bunch of Italians who don't pay anyone. That's like a legit team.
Yeah, they should at least have the money to pay Honda to show them how to set up the electronics, but it doesn't seem to be.
Right. I mean, Ducati is able to give Hector Barbera a factory technician, and you're telling me Honda can't send a factory technician over to Redding's team?
Yeah, and Hector is on the considerably lower spec electronics, and he's battling with Scott the whole time. It's
Right.
kind of, it's actually pathetic for HRC for them to allow that for their satellite bikes. Like, especially in
And
such.
actually, I know the technician. I think his name is.
Miles Bennett Dyson.
Yes. Yes, it is.
He needs to get on that shit. He needs to do better.
What?
Yeah, I think that and readiness, like we've said, he's in a poorly placed contract, like timing wise. He was on an open bike, so no one even knows if it's good or not. Oh, hey, by the way, fuck all this. I want to talk about how Lynn Jarvis style, how Nakamoto just straight up said that they're not like Jack Miller's not getting the response and the results they want. He's a Moto3 rookie on the crappiest bike on the grid.
Oh, I did not see that quote. Are you
Dude,
serious?
he straight up said that Jack Miller was not getting the results that they expected.
Even though, was this before or after he was the top open?
This was after Jerez.
So he has. I mean, he had a pretty bad round at Jerez. Like,
Yeah.
he was pretty close to getting lapped.
Right, and it's funny. This throws everything I said about how he was supposed to be put into time, a complete no pressure first year, but I guess there is total pressure.
From
Right?
from Nakamoto, from the guy
Right.
that doesn't apply pressure to anyone.
Right, to no one. Right.
Yeah, that's freaking harsh. I mean, I don't really like the guy, and I would rather not see him in GP right now, but I feel bad.
Not with he brings the mullet game so good that it's really hard for me to vote against him in any appreciable manner. His mullet is so strong.
They're not even showing him on the feed anymore. Like, we saw him because he was in Parc Ferme when he was the top open rider, but they're not showing him in qualifying. They're not showing him during practice. They like the hype. Like Fabio Quartararo is getting more hype than Jack Miller is.
That dude's getting real hype.
I hate it so much.
They really like him because he's French.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, they held like the Moto3 press conference yesterday or today to get like the Moto3 guys in there so they could talk to him, and it's probably just because he was French and it's the French round. So.
That's exactly why they did it. But,
Yeah.
I do think there's some aspect that Moto3 was kind of on fire there for a minute, and for whatever reason, the most junior class had some legit stars. People loved Marquez, Alex Rins, Jack Miller. There was a lot of legitimate, good heat on that series. And they all kind of left, and now everyone's like, wait, who?
Yeah,
What,
I mean,
guys?
because the championship went down to the final round, and the guy that you didn't think was going to win it ended up winning it. Yeah.
2 times in a row.
Yeah, it was
Because no one thought Vinales was winning it the year before when it came down with him and Salam and Rins.
Oh, yeah,
and then again it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean last year, yeah, Baby Marquez put it together or held it
I don't
off.
like calling him Baby Marquez. The dude's like 7 feet tall compared to regular Marquez, and he has like tusks for teeth. Like, I don't think we should call him Baby Marquez. Like,
No, that's exactly why we should call him Baby Marquez.
really?
Is that ironic, or that's not the definition of irony? Never mind. Whatever. Think of a better nickname then.
Alanis Morissette wrote a whole song about the definition of irony.
I'm sorry, I don't listen to Alanis Morissette.
Yes.
Yes, she did.
I'm sure you and your cats listen to her album late at night.
I'm not interested in that.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can actually talk about how Alex Marquez is not doing. A couple of the top guys that came in, into that Moto2 category and went up did well. Alex Marquez is kind of doing a Luis Salam. Supposedly good in Moto3, but like, hey, where are you in Moto2? Meanwhile, Alex Rins, Maverick Vinales, they're the ones who busted right into Moto2 and took shit over.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Marquez is doing worse than Salam did, but yeah, what is he like? Probably like 20th
Don't be ridiculous.
right now. Let's see.
Yeah, he, other than having a really good-looking bike, him and Tito are not having the greatest of years.
Oh yeah, he's 15th in the championship, and he has scored 14 points.
It is a good-looking bike, though.
It's a very good-looking bike. So he has scored points in every single race, but
Wait, how many points?
14.
20.
Nope, he hasn't made it there yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got at Coda and Argentina, he got 15th, which is good for one whole freaking point.
Word.
That's terrible. But I don't
How
know.
many points does Nikki Hayden have right now?
Less than that, unfortunately.
Yikes.
10.
Nope, I'm gonna go with less than that.
Make it a 10.
He has 3 points.
That's just like, oh god.
Yeah, he's.
And when Nikki's done, which is going to be sooner than later, the dream is over.
The American Dream.
The American dream, man. Dusty Rhodes is gone. Oh wait, that's a different topic. Someone's going to get that. Someone's going to get the American dream.
It wasn't me.
You don't know hard times?
You got like the fake laugh. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah, so Nikki scored his 3 points at Coda, and that was it. All his other finishes. Well, he hasn't DNF'd yet, but I should knock on wood for that one. But yeah. 17th, 16th, and 17th.
That's John's fake laugh. Hey, that's your fake laugh. God damn it.
That's better.
Yup.
All right, so do we have any hope for the American Dream anymore? Like,
I think it's going to be a long, long drought.
what are the chances of Cam pulling a Ben Spies?
I don't know, because I don't watch whatever that Moto America, because like you could only get the highlights at first, and then this and that. I don't even know what's happening with that.
Okay, well, all the live races are on the internet now, or not? Sorry,
Oh, sweet.
all the recorded races are now on the internet, so you don't have to watch them live. They're kind of difficult to find, but they're there, and they're like official.
Okay.
It's not like you're pirating anything. But
all right, cool.
But so rumor is that the one of the R1 teams, either in Super Stock 1000 or the BSB team, is going to move up to World Superbike next year with support. Oh yeah, this was the new rumor, and the team will be run by Valentino Rossi's team, VR46 Racing, with PATA as the sponsorship. So PATA, the PATA chip company, is going to leave the Honda Superbike team and support the new Yamaha team.
That'd be sweet.
But that's like Italian media rumor, because supposedly like PATA has like a 2-year contract, and they support the World Supersport team as well. So it's not like they can just bounce from one class and not do and still support the other one.
But you totally can. I mean, those contracts can get broken all the time, and they do.
Yeah,
like, I mean, there's famous times when the contracts get broken. I mean, fuck, Rossi came over to MotoGP, and the first thing he did was tell fucking Rockstar, sorry, Jorge Lorenzo, this old dude that you beat a couple times, he's gonna make you get sponsored by Monster instead.
Yeah, and I'm sure he had Yamaha support because they didn't have any money without him.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like now that sponsor you've been fostering for 7 or 8 years, Jorge Lorenzo, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, and PATA, I'm sure, is quite pissed off that their number one plate is barely scoring points, is not finishing races, and is getting outscored by the rookie on the bike, and who still only has 2 podiums.
And this is a good segue into that thing that no one watches.
Yeah. There you go.
That the guy that was on it is winning like 8 out of 10 races on a different bike. Like, oh shit, we're sponsoring a total piece of shit. Why aren't we sponsoring Kawasaki's team?
or the R1M or the R1 is supposedly the story. But wait, so you've seen the results, you just haven't watched any of the races. Is that what's going on?
Yes.
For Superbike. There we go. All right, so let's do a quick recap. And we'll make it very quick, otherwise Kevin will fall asleep.
Why not?
Race 1 was pretty awesome from the start. Giuliano was battling up there, and Ray and Sykes were not exactly at the front, if I remember correctly. And then
I like that.
and then And like Ray and Sykes got to the front, and Sykes was actually leading. Giuliano was in second, and Ray was in third, but they were all within a second of each other. And then David Salam crashed really hard, and he ended up breaking his wrist. But the race was red flagged. I'm not sure why, because it looked like they got him off the track pretty fast. But safety first. With the new red flag rules, they reduce the number of laps that they have left just to save time for broadcast and stuff. And
Don't do that.
the minimum number of laps that they can run is actually 6, which
10.
is club race length. And
Make it 10.
Nope, they did 6. So the second stint of race 1 was a 6-lap shootout between Ray and Sykes, and Ray pulled it off by half a second. And
right, I gotta think, like, how pissed is Sykes? He finally gets his setup. He's somewhere where he likes it. He's fighting going, and he still fucking comes up short.
I'm pretty confident that if the race would not have been red flagged, that he still would have lost, because
no,
even though
Ray's gonna win, Ray's gonna break records. This is it's gonna be ridiculous.
I mean, Sykes would have still been beat by Ray if the race wouldn't have been red flagged. Like, there's no way Sykes would have won race 1, because even though they moved it back a lap because of the red flag to put Giuliano in second for the restart, Ray was actually already in front of him, and Ray had a different front tire than everyone else, and essentially was just closing on Sykes for the 2 laps before the red flag, and I think Ray would have got by him and pulled away, and it would have been a boring finish. So it was kind of good that we had the 6-lap shootout.
Johnny Ray's, it's getting to be quite ridiculous now, actually. Like, I thought he was going to do way better, and this was his time to show what he was really at. And, whoa, he's fucking destroying that squad. I mean, that paddock. Like, in every way. He's destroying people in big things. He's narrowly finishing gaps. Like, he only lost that one race to Haslam simply because Haslam kind of planned it out perfect, and he didn't make and Ray didn't understand the plan. You know what I mean? That kind of like last lap pass.
Yeah.
Johnny's, it's quite astonishing actually what he is doing in World Superbike right now.
Yeah, like if he was on the Honda, the championship would be close, and it'd be pretty awesome. Like it would essentially be what we had the last couple of years, with a bunch of guys duking it out, and people DNFing and other people winning, and it going back and forth. But because Johnny Ray's on the Cowie now and is actually on quality machinery, he's freaking just consistent and able to pull it off when everyone else is crashing. Freaking Moto Matters said that he kind of predicted that Johnny Ray will wrap it up by Sepang.
Okay.
Is like 3 races from the end, 2 or 3 rounds from the end.
Right.
But he also said that if more people continue to screw up, that he might wrap it up at Laguna.
Right. That which is just outrageous. I mean,
yeah.
He has made no mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx him, but he even his bad. The worst thing you can say is once or twice he got second.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but could you imagine the season ends in October and someone has already written that he might wrap it up in July?
Right.
Like Marquez didn't even do that. Like, this is...
Come on, don't bullshit me. You're lying.
But all right, moving on to race 2. It was a little more straightforward. It was essentially just a head-to-head duel between Ray and Sykes, and Ray ended up beating him by 4.5 seconds. So Giuliano was up there, and then we kind of heard, through the announcers and stuff, that he was really sore. Like he broke vertebrae, and his back was just sore, and other parts of his body weren't up to the extra stress from having to deal with the soreness. So he fell back, but Torres got on the box.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited to read that. Jordy is one of the guys I was looking to have kind of a pretty cool year this year after, a solid Moto2 talent that had one bad year, made a lateral move to World Superbike, and that's pretty solid. Get on that podium.
Yeah, so it was really funny because every single time the announcers talked about him, they always brought up the fact that Jordy said that he absolutely hated the track on Friday and said that it was dangerous and that he didn't really want to race there. And then he puts it on the box.
Right.
So
Where is this?
What track is that, by the way?
Where is this?
Imola.
Right.
Oh, the Circuit di Enzo e Dino Ferrari or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, my Italian is amazing.
Right.
I was hanging out with a Japanese man at Laguna Seca all weekend, and essentially he's working on his Rossi impressions. And
Oh, nice.
it was hilarious to hear him say, and we push just a little too hard.
Right. When he do his impression, it's very beautiful, yes?
Yeah, bellissimo.
But yes. But sincerely, he make a good impression?
Yeah,
He do a good time?
sincerely, it was okay.
Okay, that's good. Good.
Wait, is Rossi saying sincerely or seriously?
He is saying sincerely, but he means seriously.
But it sounds like he's saying Sicily.
Right. Well, no, because I know he's not saying that because no Italians think Sicily's Italian.
No, but that's what it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I will defer to your Italianness on that one, of course. But all right.
I can get really racist and explain why it's not Italy.
I don't know if our viewers need to hear that any more than they want to hear about World Superbike.
Nice.
Okay, so upcoming though, it's Thursday. We just listened to the press conference for Le Mans. Nothing too fancy in the press conference, but Danny's coming back.
Who?
Danny. You know the short little dude that everyone thought is too breakable for GP and isn't strong enough to ride a 260-pound bike and or has a serious advantage because he only weighs 110 pounds.
Right. He's a large man.
Yeah, he's massive. He makes you look tiny.
Yes, that he does.
So, well, any other news that we want to cover for Le Mans? Or should we just
news I can't think of. I mean, Le Mans an interesting track. It's just it's kind of an anomaly. I'm interested to see how Rossi and Ducatis can do there. Just because, it's kind of stop and go, but it rains. You never know if it's going to rain because it's fucking France. It's the rainiest place in the goddamn world. And, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't formulated my thoughts heavily yet. But I kind of agree with Motor Matters that Ducati might be a dark horse here for Dovizioso.
Yeah, because, I mean, the bike turns, and it doesn't stop as well as it used to, but it's still pretty good on the brakes. So I feel like in those corners, they're just going to get into the corner, and they'll get out of there fast and use all that horsepower just to punch off the line.
Right.
The Ducatis might do well. What do you think about the Suzukis? We don't need a lot of horsepower.
They're working hard, and they're doing better than I thought. I think, again, it's Alaish's overriding. That's what he does.
Yeah.
He overrides. And, you know what I mean? I don't think it's still too early in the season for me to expect surprise results from them. You know what I mean? For them, it's a slow, steady. Their bike handles, but it doesn't have the most power. Like we said, they're probably about 20 horsepower down. Their acceleration isn't quite there. I expect them to do solid, and I expect Aleix to be in the top 10 again for sure, which means more than it used to.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going to be a factor that makes any of us say, oh, fucking shit, did you see Suzuki? You know what I mean? It's not – they're not getting a front row start. They're not – I don't see them doing anything that makes us think anything other than, they're on the right track.
I think the Suzukis will have an amazing final sector, and I think they will do something crazy in it throughout the weekend, especially during the race. Because didn't Maverick got his first win here, a shock surprise win where he just barged through someone in the last corner and
in Moto 2?
No, in Moto 3, I think.
Yeah, okay, so Moto 2, his first win was in Argentina.
Yeah, no, in Moto 3, 3 years ago now, he got his first win here. I'm pretty sure, but we'll see. Yeah, I kind of agree.
And what you saw the news? They're giving Barbara the GP 14.1.
Yeah, that bike was definitely an improvement over the 14.0. So wait, now Barber's going to be on the same bike as Petrucci.
Petrucci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll just have, and they both have factory technicians for the electronics.
Well, yeah, Barber. That was part of the Avintia plan. Was they have a factory technician.
Yeah, and that's why he's destroying the open category.
Right. Because Ducati's basically cheating and, having one of their data. That's a funny thing about racing this day and age, that, like, having a good data technician makes or breaks your weekend. It's kind of funny to think that,
Well, and Ducati's doing exactly what Dorna wanted everyone to do. They wanted factory support for the electronics, for the open electronics, so that those people could be competitive.
Right.
And it's good hardware other than that. So.
Well, and it's also pretty interesting to see that basically their second tier satellite guy. Because Petrucci and Hernandez are their focus. Hernandez is the second. He's got an upgrade 4 races in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so to me, what does that mean for if Petrucci and Hernandez can get a couple more solid results? That they, can they get an upgrade? Can any of them possibly get a GP 15 this year, or maybe the 14.3, or who knows? Or Ducati is really supporting their satellite bikes to a level that Honda's not doing.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see 6 GP 15s on the grid. Right. Let's say 5.
Yeah.
We know one person doesn't really deserve one, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But wait, it's his home round too, right?
Yeah, I'm not so sure he needs to be on the grid, other than Dorna wanted, Mekimiglou there. But, I think that if Ducati's showing real renewed, when they said that the Pramac team was basically a junior factory team, turns out that's true. And then Avintia gets a factory technician and direct factory support, and that's true. They're really helping. Meanwhile, it took Honda a year to have any kind of real upgrade for the open the production RS bike, and that upgrade still kind of sucks.
Yeah, because there's no electronic support. And
now, granted, they're basically just giving Barbara last year's bike, but why can't Honda do that? I don't understand why Jack Miller can't get just a slightly detuned factory bike with factory electronics. Why is Nicky Hayden and Eugene Lavery and Nicky Hayden are on, and they're just on pieces of crap. They're theoretically, I think they're going to be on the worst bikes on the grid soon, because that Aprilia, they scored points again. They are updating that bike. They're expecting the seamless transmission for that bike by Mugello. They're testing a ton. Like, forget Melandri's woes. I think that soon those open Hondas are going to be the obvious worst bike on the grid.
Yeah, especially if Aprilia continues to support Alex DeAngelis on that Toyota bike. And they claim that he was going to, get upgrades throughout the year. So it could happen. Yeah, like, what is Honda going to do if all of their bikes just are like at the dead bottom of the
championship? Yeah, it makes me think it's funny that had Aspar stayed with Aprilia, instead of being like a team that gets their sponsors lost and kind of in the back, they'd be the factory Aprilia team. You know what I mean? Like, and remember there was talk, oh man, did Espargaro make the wrong decision when he went to Forward Yamaha and all that? It turns out it was the smartest thing he ever did. And, it's crazy that Aprilia is gapping them that fast.
Yeah, and but we've seen this over and over again, right? Like Honda does what they want. They're not going to do what we kind of expect them to do.
You know what Honda does? They go the spirit of the rules.
Yeah, which only works out for them.
Right.
And not anyone they're supporting. But all right, should we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, because Dubs just posted a sweet dating thread on Barf, and I gotta respond.
Wait, Dove, the guy that
Dubs Dubbington. You don't know about Dubs and his dating adventures?
No, I thought you said Dove, the guy from a few years ago that was shamed away from Barf. Whatever.
Shamed away from Barf? No.
Good point. All right, yeah, no one is gonna have any clue what you're talking about, especially if they're not on Barf. But whatever.
No, and on my soon to come Broto GP Twitter page, y'all aren't gonna have any clue what I'm talking about either. But it's gonna be entertaining.
But all right, hopefully we'll have Dennis here next time. I don't know if we're gonna do one next Thursday. We might. We'll see. If this race turned out to be awesome, then we're gonna have tons to talk about. But we'll go from there. And I think that's all I got. We're good?
I think I'm out.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.